Hello.
How you going? Welcome to the Bear Trap Yarncast with myself, Lucy in Black, and my offsider, Jason Drop Bear.
Yeah, he says he's for UK, but I reckon he's for everyone. What do you reckon?
Yeah. Nah, definitely. Welcome to the welcome to the Yarncast, bruv.
Yeah, man.
Glad you could
Cheers for having us.
Yeah.
I feel fucking tall and shit, eh?
Feel tall.
I don't know,
You need to
seats
fucking
and
sink
that.
the fucking...
Yeah.
It's like you need to help him with his
No,
fucking...
I'm gonna fucking stack it. Oh yeah, there we go.
I need to help you tie your shoes as well? Or?
No, it's alright. I got Velcro for that. Eh?
You got the Velcro.
Holy shit.
Oh, yeah, you got the Velcros. Oh, it's sinking too much.
Fucking-
Fuck, no.
Yeah,
This is a good start. We're
Yeah,
having
no,
some
that's it.
technical difficulties with Lucian's chair.
Yeah, I got to suss. I'm a fucking geriatric already, man.
So anyway, what's been going on, man? You
Just-
fucking just gigging and shit?
Just gigs, man. Gigs, setting up, release schedules, and quite a bit working on, mind, body, and soul shit. So
yeah.
That's the
My
main
body
thing.
is like,
that's it. Getting
yeah.
fucking
Just-
well-rounded.
Just
Yeah,
dropped
fuck
your latest track.
Yeah, Light and Dissonance came out on the 23rd of Feb, I think. Yeah, 23rd.
Still yet to, because I know you play a little bit with your genre a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm still yet to check that one out. What's it sort of like? What are you aiming at with that one?
That one's kind of like melodic techno in the techno region. So it's like, quite a heavy sort of
Vibey sort of
song. So
yeah, sick. Now, because we're normally like almost entirely a hip hop podcast at this point, and a lot of people may not necessarily know who you are. So you want to just tell everybody sort of what your background is.
Done plenty in hip hop though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my background, like starting out in hip hop, so from the very get go, it was.
And you can scratch like a motherfucker too.
Bro.
Well, that's the roots, man. Like, with starting with breakdancing crews and hip hop crews like that. So it's that was like back in the 90s. So.
Yeah.
Like late 90s.
Was that in
2000s.
Perth?
Yeah, that was in Perth.
Yeah. Is there much breakdancing still going on here?
Yeah. So there's a lot of like little b-boy troops that still train, and they're getting fucking crazy.
MDMC's got his crunk group and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
From the Protectors and all that. So
Yeah, I have to check that out. Like, I reckon that'd be
It's dope.
sick to go see like someone doing like breakdancing and shit, because you don't see that often, even on the internet anymore. Like there's certain pages where there's like these crazy fucking head flips and like wild shit standing on their fingers, and but you don't
I've
see
seen
it.
that Red Bull. You've seen that Red Bull one where they will slide on top of their head and they have like the big competitions. and shit.
Yeah.
There's also like when I was a kid, it seemed like every second fucking music video you'd see had a fucking someone breakdancing in it.
Dance
But
choreography.
yeah.
Yeah, I was watching a film the other night with had DMX in it, and they're all in like some fucking shop, fucking breakdancing, like a clothing shop that are like dad like running some mafia shit. Like it's fucking weird. Like
Breakdancing mafia store in the hood.
With fucking DMX.
Yeah, DMX and a liar. It was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Oh, he did a couple there. Was it Cradle to the Grave?
Yeah, Cradle to the Grave and Romeo Must Die.
Romeo Must Die. Yeah, that was Jet Li as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did a few movies, eh?
Yeah, man.
R.I.P. DMX.
Yeah,
by the way.
DMX,
Fucking
man. What a G.
mad
Him
cunt.
and his dog,
100%.
man.
Yeah.
Arr.
Oh.
So yeah, what sort of got you more into the other sort of genres that you're into now? So you're more your techno and stuff like that. Was it a progressive thing from hip hop, or was it?
It was just more of an exploration of genres of music, like from my brother, my parents, like from radio listening, it was all so fucking fascinating to me. And then, I was doing a lot of hip hop shows and got to a comfortable level with my skill set that I'm like, well, I want to be good at it all. And I want to, and I started noticing that, the transition from hip hop into say new metal and other genres and and drum and bass and stuff like that. And I'm like, so I kind of followed MCs down that route into the electronic sort of stage. Yeah. And then I'm like, wow, like I kind of like the faster tempo stuff as well. Yeah. And then it was like, all right, I want to be proficient at mixing this. So being proficient at like mixing every genre now, and it's like, so it's like when I get booked for shows, it's like, I can pull whatever out of the bag because I'm like constantly keeping up to date with different genres and also practicing what the techniques are in those.
And I think also in order to like actually make a living off music, being diverse is obviously going to help you a lot, right?
100%. Yeah.
You're going to get booked for way more shows and way more different venues and stuff like that.
And like that's the interesting thing now. It's like I'm like pulling all my branding together and actually going for more of a electronic techno style of branding, just to be a bit more cohesive and
people understand what they're booking when they book you.
Exactly, because it's I've had a few instances where I've been booked for a show and they're expecting a certain style or genre, so I'm like working on separating my branding just in a way so that I can go market, all right, this is a 4UK hip hop set, this is a 4UK techno set, this is a 4UK break set or whatever.
Do you ever go to a show, and because obviously like a lot of the shows you'd be doing, there'd be other DJs on and stuff. Do you ever go to a show and just based on the what all the other artists are doing, just completely change your set to try and match the sort of vibe?
I've seen him do it on the spot.
It's
because I think that's super important to like, because you don't want to be the guy that just takes it in a whole other direction and it kind of just goes south from there.
Yeah, like obviously you can do a bit of research beforehand when you like get booked for set lists and stuff like that, and you're like, all right, this guy plays heavy, I slot in here and I need to transition from this spot to the next spot. But sometimes it's like completely out of the blue and they're like, oh, this guy's playing way too heavy or like way heavy early on. You're like, all right, I got to match that. But then, a quiet discussion with the next DJ, if they're there at the venue, you're like,
what sort of things are they going to play?
Are you matching this level? Are you going up or are you going down, or where would you like to start, And then from there, it's like, you buzz through. But like, I went through a stage of like never planning my sets. And just doing that on the fly. Just purely because that's, for me, in that hip-hop style of cuts, changes, and just on the fly and just feeling shit. So,
making it up as you go, just winging it.
100%. Nowadays, I'm like, all right, I've got a larger enough catalogue of music that I'm like, all right, this is a mood for, either pre-show, mid-show, or final show. And like, so I can kind of like dive into those sets, like individual sets, and go, oh, this is working out, and then I'll follow down a trainer path of these sorts of tracks, and you told
me about the Siggy mix. So you're going to make a mix up where you've got like 2 or 3 tracks that are pre-mixed and you can put on. So in between sets you can go out for a Siggy. So I've got that down pat. But I've like when we were in Brisbane, we had 6-hour set. And we were jumping on top of each other, and you're far superior, more better DJ than me, and you've taught me a lot, like coming around and showing me a lot of stuff and seeing him work on the fly and actually move things, because we had a very vast amount, a different amount of artists on that bill. From like soft R&B to like hard spitting stuff, in between.
So a bit of poetry.
Beats, and then expressive poetry and stuff.
But to see him work and go, okay, well, we're going to try this and do that, that's good to, it's different to see and actually see someone that's like onto it, do it,
Yeah, that's the thing as well. Like when I say winging it, it's not really winging it once you've got the knowledge behind you to sort of understand where it's going to go. You know what I mean? Like if, like for example, you see someone who's really good at like freestyle rapping, a part of what makes them good is that they know, they have an idea in their head what direction they're going to take it in, and they're not just like, it is off the top of the head, but they sort of start doing setups and stuff before they get to punchlines.
That's exactly it.
A lot of people don't realise that, especially with DJing, there's a lot of preparation involved, like everything, like labelling your folders, having your set lists, like you showing me going through Record Box and getting all that sort of stuff sorted. It's not just like you're just playing someone else's music. It's like there's a lot of thought and processes and cue points, and Yeah,
100%. Like, you know, and that's like just the like bare minimum stuff.
Yeah.
And then you got to go into the, you know, the psychology of like people essentially,
crowd
and the music that you're playing.
Feeling
you
the
know?
room.
Even though it may not be like 100% like there and people notice it, they feel it because you fucking feel music, right? So yeah, like that's so like, and then you've also got figuring out what the you know, what kind of crowd that venue has and what the feeling is in that venue. You know, and if you push more of a heavier set, you know, you could cause fights or fucking whatever.
You could end up with people just walking out because it's just too much.
Or there's that, yeah.
Like if they've been listening to Summer House all day and then you just start throwing on some like hard DMB, like, you know what I mean? Like that's just way too intense for them.
Rotterdam Happy Hardcore or something.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Do you notice that there's a lot of, especially with a lot of hip hop artists, a lot of them are fans of drum and bass?
Yeah.
Now, do you really think... I heard a yarn, and it's just a yarn, and I think it was more of a satire piece.
All about yarns here.
It's all about yarns. If you haven't heard one by 9 o'clock, make one up.
Yeah.
No, it's about... they reckon that drum and bass, 140 BPM, because it's basically the preset for Fruit Loops. They reckon a lot of people didn't notice how to set the tempo and that on Fruit Loops.
That's so funny.
So everyone started doing drum
It's
and
utter
bass.
bullshit. But
To be honest, my first
I wouldn't be
production
surprised.
software that I used was FL Studio 2 or 1 or something like that.
Was that
and I
140
was making drum and bass.
Yeah, 140
That was
BPM,
the first. And then I was like, actually, no, I like techno. And then I was like making drum and bass and techno. And then, it wasn't until like I was like, this is fucking annoying. And then just stuck with DJing and mixing for like another like 4 or 5 years until I picked it back up again. And I'm like, oh, now I actually like understand more about music structure to be able to put that into making better music.
And how to like build from one section of a song to another and shit
because
like
that's
that.
the thing. I was like playing hip hop at that stage and making like techno and drum and bass, and I'm like, I don't really know what the fuck I'm doing.
You just sort of like figuring it out on the fly. Like, not really.
And then nowadays it's like I'm making still kind of doing the same.
I remember when I first started playing around with making beats and stuff, is I'd find like it's kind of dumb. Like I think it's something that everybody does when they first start making beats, is you'd find like a sound and you go, that sounds fucking dope. I've never heard anything like that in a fucking hip hop beat. And then you go to make a hip hop beat with that, it was like, oh, that's why. Because it sounds like shit. You know what I mean?
Different key or something.
100%. Yeah. And it's like, and it's not until you like deep dive further in to audio engineering and you know, and the software and its capabilities that you're like,
you know,
how to manipulate those samples to
make it cohesive
to what you want to hear.
So you know, like there was one track that I made, Midnight Holiday, which was a Rump Shaker sample that I made every element of the track out of. So it was, I made the kick, I made the snare, I made the leads, the bass line, all out of a 10-second sample. And
right. So wave, do you put it through wavetable or something?
Yeah. So like basically, pitching fucking the whole lot, and it's like created a whole track out of 30 seconds of soundbite. You know, and that was because I was like trying to flex my fucking knowledge on this shit, and then you know that's something that I released, and I haven't really spoke about, but I'm just like, it's just own like personal fucking
personal flex.
Well, you sort of got to I don't know, when you try something new and it fucking works out, it's a good feeling, and you sort of got to like figure out new ways to get that feeling sometimes as a musician. Like what I do sometimes when I'm writing is try to write in a completely different vein to anything I've written before. Even if it turns out shit, just write just to prove to myself that I can do it like that. Like whether it's a storytelling or just something completely different to my normal like train of thought, or even just words. What I quite often do when I'm writing, like, which is probably what you do similarly with sounds, is I would think of a word that I've never used in a rap before, and I don't think I've heard anybody use in a rap before, and try and work backwards from that to build something. And so I'd imagine as producers, sometimes people would find sounds and try and work backwards from a sound.
Yeah, well, it's like as producers, like some producers work from like a
subtractive synthesis, it's called.
Yeah, there's that. And then like if you're sample based, you throw a whole bunch of samples on, and then you kind of make the bridge, and then you go, all right, I'll thin this out, duplicate it out, and so you've got, you know, your intro, which is a thinner version of your main block that you've produced, and then Yeah, and then it's like the same with sets as well. Like, you know, you find an absolute fucking banger track, and you want to put it in there, and then you got to find tracks to fill up and like, you know,
and that
build around it. You know?
And I kind of get that
moment, and then when it doesn't work, you're like, shit.
I kind of get that just from fucking like building a playlist. You know what I mean? Like I'll just build a playlist to like listen in headphones when I'm around the house and stuff, and then I'll get to one song, I'll go, that does not fit at all. Yeah. Like not even slightly. It's just like way too heavy or like way too soft. And it's just like, and I'll be like, I love that song, but it. Now for the next 3 months I can't listen to that song anymore because it's just I've been listening to something that's say completely different and it's put me in a certain mood. Then I've listened to that song and gone, I don't like it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's exactly right. Like I'm in the process right now of setting up all my Spotify playlists for my artist page, and I'm like basically just chucked everything in there at the moment, and then like it's gonna take it out ages to cull back to listenable playlist. Like they're listenable, they've all like got really decent tunes in them, but you know, curate it to my taste and my ears, and then update it you know, on the monthly. So
and then the trouble with building playlists for other people as well is they're going to put them on shuffle.
Yes. That's right.
So you sort of got to have it cohesive throughout.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Or every third track drop yours, you know, like also
itchy as nose, bro.
With the
smelling all the fucking chicken guts out there.
DJ school, that's what you got going on now? You got some students, or you're going to get it going? Or
going to get it going. I've got a lot of interest at the moment. So, I've got a lot of interest. The curriculum's written. I've just got to find some test students to run through.
I'll learn to DJ if you want to test it on me.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, why not?
Because I want to make sure that it's like, you know, on point before, you know, obviously I can start charging for it, but, you know, it's like I want to provide that value. So, you know, they say
Are you going to be doing like any kind of DJing? Are you going to do like scratches and stuff, or are you just going to do like your typical like club DJ sort of stuff?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like
basics and fundamentals.
Basics. It'll start with basics and fundamentals, and then you know, like I find that my teaching style is picking up where someone is, rather than going through a stock. All right, this is this, this is that, and you know, you lose people that way. Yeah. You know, I've been in classes where it's like, we start from here and then we go as slow as the slowest person, either in individual or even in duo settings when you're being mentored and stuff. And it's, you know, like you lose stuff, or you're waiting in for, you know, say the people around you to come up to that level when you kind of don't get that sort of attention. So it'll be
I kind of get that because, like, for example, when I was in high school, like there'd be some classes I'd do where like there was something that was simple as, and I'd fucking smash through it, right? And then by the time they actually got round to doing the next thing, I've completely lost interest. I don't want to be there anymore. I've just been sitting there for half an hour staring out a fucking window. And it's just
or getting like,
and that was in my music class and shit too. And like, and then the other way around, it would be if I was like struggling to keep up with what was going on with something, they're like, oh no, we got to move on. You'd be like, well, I need to understand this fucking thing, because there's no good me memorizing it to pass the test if I don't understand what the fuck it means.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like a lot of it'll be, you know, starting on that one-on-one basis style until I kind of also get the hang of, you know, like mentoring more. You know, it's like I have trained people with first aid and, you know, a lot of other sorts of, you know, like
endeavors.
Chef by trade, aren't you?
Chef by trade. So try it like
you've done everything.
Yeah.
I remember talking to you in Brisbane. You just like every time, like every 10 minutes in the conversation, he'd bring up, he's like, oh yeah, I've got my ticket for this. So I got, oh, I'm actually a personal trainer. It's like,
that's right. Like,
done a little bit of everything.
Yeah, well, that's it. It's, you know, part of the psychology of trying to figure out people and their issues of works and what they're into, and also just out of pure interest, you know.
Renaissance man, mate. He's a Renaissance man.
Stuff that I don't know how to do, I'm like, well, I might as well get trained in it and do it proficiently. And, and it's like, you know, no real time out of like, this is what we're here for in life, isn't it? Just to fucking figure it out.
Just to do shit. Give it a crack. Just do shit, guys. Just do shit.
Just do it.
Yeah. So, how long ago, because when we were talking in Brisbane, you were talking a bit about how like you've made music your full-time career now, and like how long ago was it when you made the switch, and what was that process like?
I've had a few attempts at it. So I tried it when I was living in Melbourne.
Scared?
Yeah, of course. Because it's like it's all on you.
Yeah, and
there's no fail safe. There's no like, oh, I can rely on, you know.
And
if I have a weekly check coming in, like
it'll be like any business. You're gonna have moments where you're gonna start to feel like you're getting cold feet, especially early on. Yeah. Because you'll have a dry period where you get no gigs or anything.
And that's the main reason why it wasn't successful. I wasn't successful at it the first sort of like 2 attempts where I was
fear
like,
mentality.
Fuck this. I've like got enough gigs and I'm like quit my job and I'm like, fuck this is great. I got time to produce, got time to do this, and then
the panic sets
and then
in.
all of a sudden I'm like concentrating too much on shit that doesn't matter. You know, or that shouldn't be taking as long. You know, I'm like, oh, it's all about marketing and pushing down on that, and I'm like, you know, I'm not fucking making leads, you know.
Yeah, that's right.
And then I'm just relying on what's coming in, and I'm like, oh, this is fucking stupid.
You're not ringing people and
like,
messaging people.
Coming into winter, you know, everything's dropped by like 50 to 40%, and you're like, well, where do I go from here? And then I got to go back to work.
A lot of people don't realise that, especially in the music and entertainment industry, is that winter is a slow time.
Yeah.
Like, there's not many people going out. It's cold. It's raining.
Yeah, but venue's only going to have 10 people in there. They're not going to want to pay you for a set.
Oh, no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying
but that's what I'm saying with winter is that, like, if nobody goes out in winter, so, like, they need to make money over the bar to be able to pay you anything.
Yeah.
So,
but it's sort of a double-edged sword because there's a couple of places, like, I won't say names, but we've done a couple of things with, is that they will just put it on and just pay us to do it.
Yeah,
because they want to have something on every night.
Because they need something on to sort of break that sort of monotonous part of the... So sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad.
Yeah. Some venue having a live show every night is part of their culture, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so,
some are,
So whether they make money on that particular event or not, the reason people go there regularly is because there's always something on.
Yeah, 100%.
A gimmick or a drink or...
Yeah, and then like, you know, there's also the other side of it where it's not just shows that you need to be creative with when it comes to your income, you know, it's the subsidiary income, you know. Like
merch.
We'll see fucking...
Yeah, 4UK
merch on now. So.
I'm spewing you didn't bring me one, mate.
Hey?
Spewing you didn't bring me one. I'll start rocking them at shows. It'll be sick.
100%. So that's like, I haven't done a public release on those yet. These are in the sample stages.
They're pretty sick. They're actually very hip hop.
I'm happy with my my hoodies, my tees.
Oh, he's got hoodies. Black hoodies?
Yeah, all colours. Even this mauve red as well.
Look out.
Yeah, sick.
And a nice little like pink colour as well if you want to get into
that. Yeah. I think he'd be right into that.
I'd be right into that,
mate. Beanies. I'm still looking for caps. Still can't find shit that actually fits my head that I can embroider on.
Yeah.
Because it's at the end of the day, it's all about me.
They're also surprisingly expensive. Yeah,
right.
It is like, if I can't rock my own merch, like why the fuck would I want to sell it?
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
he's rocking his own merch right now.
Yeah, fuck it. That's how it is. But
I'll rock my own merch, no problem. The only time I don't is when I'm doing a show. Like, I'll happily rock somebody else's merch, but because years ago I got it in my head that it's bad luck to wear your own merch on stage.
Oh, right.
Which is like some old musician superstition, but I just don't do it. I can't do it. Like I can't. I can't bring my brain to let me do it because it'll just like make me think I'm gonna have a shit show, and then once your brain starts doing that, you end up. You know what I mean? Like trip yourself up, you know.
Trick yourself into a shit
so I'd rather just fucking not play that game. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind it. It's a selfless fucking. You know, shit. Like
shameless promotion.
Yeah, that's the one. Not selfless. There's opposite of that.
I've always got my own shit on. I don't care, man.
Yeah. No, well, like I'm of the opinion, like if you're not willing to wear your merch, then like why the fuck would you want to like expect other people to? You know? Yeah. And it's like with all branding as well. But so going back to creative ways to kind of pursue and like kind of subsidiary that sort of gig money is like obviously being diverse. So. Like I jump into doing 21st parties and the sort of like commercial corporate side of stuff, but the stuff I only advertise is the club stuff or the direction that I'm going in, so it may look like I'm quiet, but I'm not, like there's always shit ticking in the background.
Yeah, and it's like with any business, sometimes you got to do the stuff you don't want to do so that you can do the stuff that you do want to do.
Yeah, 100%. And like from those like stuff that you don't want to do, like you'll end up you know, meeting larger clients that, you know, are interested in having chats with, you know, networking, you know, like, and
other artists and stuff, like,
and it's stupid to just go, oh, I'm just this and this is all I do. Like some people, like, you know, the 1% of people that can pop off like that and then, you know, make it successful, that, you know, good on them, you know, right place, right time, like a lot of hard work, all that sort of stuff. But at the same time, like, those people dip and fall real quick. You know, I've had a career spanning 20 years.
Consistent. Like diversifying your...
and consistent.
Yeah, and consistent with it. So
so you've kind of got a choice. You either got to diversify with what you're doing so that you can make enough income to get by, or you have to have a job and do it on the side. You kind of don't really have any choice in that.
And, you know, like I was in a profession of chefing that wasn't conducive with DJing, you know.
Because like, you're working nights and when you should be DJing.
12, 15-hour shifts and then going out to the clubs playing either a 2 or a 4 hour set, which is leaving me maybe an hour or two sleep.
And then
back
again.
to fucking in the kitchens again.
That's hard on the body, bro.
100%, man. But like, this is what I thought needed to happen. And I was like, hang on a second, like sit back. What are my motivations? Why the fuck am I doing this? And then I'm like, all right, no, I gotta.
It's funny though when you're doing stuff like that, because I've done, for example, I've run from like one show to another and done all this kind of crazy shit. Like, you know, like taking red eye flights to Brisbane to go do a show that was like last minute, right? Yeah, so like I've done shit like that, but it's hard because you have to kind of take a look at yourself and go like, do I really need to do this? Because part of what it is you've tricked yourself into thinking that if I put in the fucking work now, tomorrow it's going to be fucking great.
Yeah.
Right? But the trouble is longevity is more important than hoping for tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And it's like setting yourself up for success is one of the things that, like, you know, even though you're like, I need to do all this shit, it's like actually focusing on the one thing that you need to do. You know, is the crazy thing about it. Like, because a lot of people get wrong.
It's like if you think you can be a chef all night, then go do a DJ set, get 1 hour sleep, and then one of those days that you do that, you're gonna blow the fuck up and be a famous DJ and all this shit, right? You've only got fucking 5 nights to try before your body starts to break down. You know what I mean?
Or you got a good dealer.
Yeah.
Or you got a really good dealer.
Yeah, but like even that is like eventually you're gonna be fucking.
That's it. Like that was, you know, the start of a lot of my like fucking health issues with chronic fatigue and all that sort of stuff. So,
but you wouldn't see daylight, would you?
No, because I'm like trapped in 4 walls in a basement cooking fucking slop for people. Well, not slop, but some pretty decent food. I got
slop on a shipstones,
and then basically, you know, going to work before sun up and leaving work after sundown, and you know, it's like only for the cigarette breaks, you know, and like the only way you would get breaks is if you smoked. So you just like, you know, walk out, you know, fuck this, bright, have a dart back in, and like that's.
It's actually how I started smoking in high school.
Yeah,
I was like 14 or 15, and I was working with at Macca's with one of my mates, and then fucking my mate goes, just like, bro, you need to start smoking, you get more breaks.
Yeah,
I'm like,
100%.
I was like, all right, and then I just started like, and then every time he'd go out for a cigarette break, I'd go out for a cigarette break, and then I started smoking.
Yeah, when I got. When I got to a point of managing and running kitchens, I would send the non-smokers out for a fucking strawberry break or whatever their favorite snack was. I'm
totally
like,
fair.
Yeah, because I'm like, you know, I'm sitting there like fucking stressed out, fuck this, and just leave, go for a diet, come back. You know, and then like it's like, well, you know, there are people that are stuck in this for longer than I am, and I'm like, you know, take 5, go. I'm like, no, I need to do shit. You're like, go, take 5.
But you wouldn't change it for the world?
Nah, wouldn't change it.
It made you what you are?
100%. Yeah. Like that, that gave me a lot of business mindset.
Yeah.
Going down the hospitality career path. Enough so to be, you know, almost regimented with my music and, you know,
understanding the back end of things.
Yeah, and also the hospitality, because obviously being a chef, I'm in the back room hearing a lot of stuff with venue managers and like how hospitality works from the inside.
Yeah.
So when I'm talking to venue managers,
I don't know if I want to know how it is on the inside.
Yeah, when I'm talking to...
That's our next question, mate. Yeah. We're starting to get on the venue managers in a minute.
So you know, then it's like, oh, you know exactly. I can walk into a venue and know exactly how much they're making, roughly how much I can ask, if it's worth their time or not, or if they're willing to have a punt at it. You know, it's just because I've got that knowledge and background, and it's like, you know, it's not a manipulation thing. It's just straight up being upfront with people about their money and their business just as much as I am. You know?
Yeah. Also, it helps you to negotiate from a point of understanding.
Yeah.
When you negotiate from a like, I want this much for a show, and they're like, there's no fucking way we can give you that. Then that's when the emails quickly stop.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean?
And that's the thing. Like, we all, like, everyone in hospitality knows each other. All the venue managers, all like, you know, they're all trying to keep themselves alive and also in competition. You know, it's a lot of like the hip hop scene. We're all trying to keep it. You know, everyone's a bit bitey. Yeah. Everyone wants the gigs, but we're all on that level of competition. You know, like it's. And same with DJs, you know. Yeah.
Well, especially with like Perth being a small scene. There's only so much. Like, I'm not saying it as in fucking. You should be jealous or bitter about other people getting gigs, right? What I'm saying is there's only so many gigs that are on.
Yeah.
Right? So if you're not going to like put in the work to like try and get yourself in front of the right people or meet the right people to try and put you on gigs, you can't really complain if you're not getting any either.
Yeah, that's definitely right, yeah.
And even if you are putting yourself in front of the right people and you're not getting gigs, do better. Yeah. Like, focus on it. Go back to the drawing board. Focus on your craft. Like,
you can always do better.
Yeah, that's the thing.
It's like the whole Joe Rogan thing. He says, "Be undeniable."
Yeah.
He's like, eventually, if you just keep working at it and getting better and doing all your like working on your marketing, like the amount of times I've watched videos on how to do this shit and I still don't fucking understand it. Yeah. But I'm getting a little bit better. Like each day I'm getting a couple more followers here, a couple more there. Figuring out like I need to be replying to people, which I used to be really bad for, like comments and stuff. You need to say something back. Don't just go like their comment, you know? Yeah. Little things like that. You get better at that and you have to learn. But eventually...
It's organic.
Eventually it's going to get to a point where people are going to be reaching out to you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not you chasing these gigs and begging for them.
Yeah, exactly. And like, you know, you can't blame the outside for what the fuck you want. Like, you know, it's solely on the person.
Nobody has any responsibility to give you anything.
100%. Yeah, you gotta go take it. No.
By force with a knife.
So venue managers, let's get on to that.
I have nothing to say.
Has it got no comments?
I played the fifth.
Nah.
No. Well,
how do you find like you were saying before? You've dealt with venue managers before, so have I putting on gigs. How do you think that the way to go about booking venues and gigs now is compared to say 4 or 5 years ago?
Well, 4 or 5 years ago, it was a lot easier because I think purely because it was like more of a let's do this. There was like not so much like a worry about money, but it was a lot easier to have those negotiations with let's try something rather than I need proof of concept and purchase before like anything fucking goes ahead.
Which is what a lot of venues are doing now. They're asking for your expected capacity,
ticket sales, you know, like prior to the date, you know, and then they put in clauses in contracts of, you know, if you don't have the numbers up by X date, then we're cancelling shows, or you know, there's like a lot of
which makes you look really bad to your following.
Yeah, so
if
it's
you've
like
promoted something like
it's like a double-edged sword in that way. Yes, it protects the venue from losing out on money, but then it shoots the artistry and artists in the foot when it comes to you know, promotion. Even though, you know, like the way that sales usually go is that, you know, you get 10% to 25% leading up to, doesn't matter how many, depending on the genre, leading up to the show, and then it's like in the final week usually, or the final couple of days you sell out. You know, so like there's these patterns with different genres that these clauses sometimes don't take into account, and even explaining that to some venues is like they're like it's too much of a risk. Which
what I've found is that if say we're going to put a pre-sale on, I find that a lot of people that don't sort of live within the area that are coming down from say south or whatever, they're the type of people that will book their tickets and then obviously
to make sure that when they get there,
well, I find that with regional,
and then you get a lot more especially I've had with hip hop, is that a lot more people are on the door.
Yeah.
Whereas
hip hop is very much on the door, and also the same thing with hip hop is like Facebook events. This is what freaks venues out, right? Yeah. Every time is you look at a Facebook event and it says 20 people coming, and you go to that gig and there'll be 600 people there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Right.
It's
the
just,
metrics are all off.
Way off
because everyone sees the event, but they don't go make the effort to go hit going or whatever because they don't give a shit about doing that. You know, like it's.
Whereas metal, mate, they're just all on the door.
Yeah.
Like they don't even bother doing pre-sales. I'm not quite sure about the indie scene.
A lot of metal shows, from what I found, because I used to be a big metalhead and I used to go to a fair bit of shows. A lot of the shows, especially local ones, it's not even about who's fucking playing. Yeah. They couldn't give a fuck less who's playing. They just feel like moshing on a Saturday night.
Moshing, man.
You know what I mean? Like they couldn't, so, and like they have their favorite bands in the like local scene or whatever, but it's more of a culture of just going to these shows, you know?
Yeah.
Which I would like to get hip hop to that point as well.
Sure.
But it's just a slow process.
Electronics up there, they've got. I reckon they're pulling the biggest numbers.
Yeah, like obviously drum and bass is always going to be massive in Perth.
It's huge in Perth.
You know,
it's the home of it really when you think about it.
And they and they all work together. Like every brand, it's like I'm doing stuff this weekend. You can have the following fortnight, and I'm bringing this artist over, and it's also managed around Australia as well, with artists who's like, all right, well, how can I jump on who's coming over from New Zealand and doing the rounds, especially with international acts as well. So
it's a lot. I find it a lot closer knit community. Like I know a lot of the DJs and that from the sub-era guys, all that sort of stuff, and it's a lot closer knit community in the sense of they really work with each other. But Bass Watch was this weekend, and next weekend, I don't know, Remedy, and then you've got Sub-Era, and then you've got something the week after that, and the week after that. So there's always.
Then you got Roller coming up.
There's a lot coming up, and they get numbers, man.
Yeah.
See, when I used to go out clubbing and I'd go see like drum and bass shows and like dubstep and all that kind of stuff.
Dope.
I had a good time, especially when I was younger. Like we used to just go hard, bro. Yeah. But we always had like one or two of our mates in the group that like really followed the scene and knew who was going to be good, right? And then that guy will go, "We're going to this on the weekend," and then all of a sudden he's got 10 people with him that just want to go party. They don't give a fuck who's playing, 100%. But because there's that tight knit community, he knew about the shows coming up. So
that's exactly it. Like you got to have your finger in the pie, or also have mates. That are in that.
I think there's nothing better when the mate shows you a new track or a new artist. Even to this day, I still find it exciting.
100%.
Like, check this out, check this guy out. Whether it's local, famous, whatever, I
also love the feeling of. Maybe this is just a little bit of me being like, I know music, but I love the feeling of showing somebody else a new artist and that ends up becoming one of their favorite artists, like 100%. You see them a couple of years later and they're cranking it and you're just like, fuck yeah. Like,
well, that's kind of my job, isn't it? Like,
literally.
Like, hey, check this out. If they're grooving.
You chose that path for a reason,
Oh, no, that's the weirdest thing though. It's like, I'll get onto a track, like on the release, start playing, doing the rounds, I'll get bored of it, and then it pops off, and then I'm like, fuck.
And then it's the biggest track ever.
And I'm like, I'm so over it. And then I'm hearing it everywhere, and I'm like, that's more so with like commercial music stuff.
That's probably more so because you've got your finger on the pulse more than most other people. Being a DJ yourself, you know what new music's coming out. So before it's hit like the algorithms and shit, where everybody's going to see it, you're already playing it, and then you're going, I'm sick of playing that, and then it's hit the algorithm.
Or I've been playing it for like months on end, and it's not hitting, and I'm like, take it out of the fucking rotation, and then next minute.
Was that with Harry's track? And then that
next minute, every DJ set you see has it.
The ocean?
Yeah. I was playing that everywhere. Everyone's like, what is this?
And I'm like, oh, who's this?
And then it blows up on TikTok or something?
But it was because I went to the Universal Bar. I think I was with Pablo or something. And I came in, I'm going, fucking, this is like a couple of years ago. And I'm like, oh, yeah, fuck, this is dope. Like, I like the tune and shit. And then I looked it up. I just Shazammed it. I'm like, oh, yeah, Masked Wolf. I looked up and I was friends with him on Facebook, Harry Michael. And I'm like, oh, yeah, blah, 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 blah. I said, fucking dope track, man. He goes, yeah, I did it a while ago. Not even a month later. I think I saw you with Timmy. I think we're at Street Eats or something like that. Well, that track you're playing, dude. And this thing's fucking like, what is it, 1 billion views or million views or something?
Yeah, wasn't he fucking, he did like fucking
he went to Harvey Norman.
Stephen Colbert in America or something?
He's done everything, Jimmy Kimmel, the whole lot, man.
Yeah.
And he's from Melbourne. He's, just producer. We're on a producer chat.
That's when a track fucking blows up. When
but
you're
he
over
was
there
playing
doing
it
that
for
shit.
ages, man, because that was the first time I heard it. And then I'm like, oh, yeah. And then it was like fucking literally a couple of months later, I'm at straight. So I'm like, dude, that track you're playing. He goes, I'm sick of it, man. I'm like, it's blown up, dude. You know, like, he's like, what?
No, it still gets to play. I played it last weekend, actually. Not the one but the one before.
But now it probably gets a better reaction because
people know it. Yeah,
and I think the viral sort of
it's
culture as well helped it along.
For sure, but it's like, that's part of my job is bringing attention to like what I think is cool, and like what's good, and then mixing that in with familiar, and it's like either a 2-to-1 ratio or a 3-to-1 ratio, or however you kind of structure it. But
because the familiarity sort of like from like DJ sets and stuff that I've been there for, the familiarity sort of draws you back in just when you're about to check out.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like it's really important. The timing of that, I think, for me, is because like when you get to the point where you're just like, oh, I'm kind of getting sick of this. Because if you don't know something, you can enjoy it as much as you like. But like for me,
you're gonna tune out.
Eventually you're gonna be like whatever. Because like when I listen to new music that I haven't heard before, right? I would much prefer to do it when I'm sitting by myself with nobody else around. Yeah. I can have headphones in and I can just listen to it and focus on it and try and figure out all the intricacies of it.
Yeah, we call that critical listening.
Yeah, so that's when I most prefer to listen to new music. So I don't mind listening to new music when I'm at a club because it's like part of the fucking the thing or whatever. Yeah. But I need the familiarity before I start fucking going, I'm gonna go fuck off. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm gonna go have a dart. But like that's the thing. Like when you
then a song I love comes on. And then I'm like, oh, I'll wait to have a dart,
But this is it, like, so you're like, most DJs are in a position of looking out on the crowd and overseeing the bar, right? And if the one way to get in the venue manager's good books is if the bar's empty, you flow with that vibe of like, all right, I'm going to play something that it's a bit more unfamiliar that still bangs, but, like
it'll
go on
get
down
people
that.
Away from
just like enough for them to be like, oh, I'll have a drink or a smoke. And then it's like when there's enough, if the bar's getting rammed, then you play something that's fucking, banging that everyone knows. And then it eases up the bar. The bar staff are a lot happier. And they're like, wow, this night was so smoothly. Well, how did that happen? And you're like, well, like, I'm a puppeteer.
The Marinetti, mate. The puppeteer.
But, like, you got to know your songs and the mood and obviously the venue. Like, it's hard to, it takes a while to get to a spot at a venue
where you can do it naturally.
Yeah, to do that. So
and experience.
Yeah, experience.
To read the room.
Lots and lots of experience.
Yeah.
How many gigs do you reckon you've done so far?
Oh, you said you lost count ages ago, didn't you?
Yeah. This year already has probably what month are we in? March.
Fuck, what West April, man.
Yeah. Close to maybe 35 or 40 or something like that.
Shit, man.
That's fucking all right.
Yeah.
So by the end of the year, you'll be in the fucking 3 digits.
Oh, he's in thousands already, man.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, that's sick.
I could probably do it by looking up my last invoices because I started at 0.
The Doofs, man. You still love doing the Doofs?
Yeah, I was out at one.
That was a couple of weeks ago when I was talking to you and Tim.
Yeah, we went out.
For those of you who don't know what a doof is, it's where a bunch of people go into the bush and just take a bunch of drugs and play and roll around in mud. And listen to him play some
weird fucking music.
Well, that's the thing. You can't play that shit in clubs. Like, cause when I've been to doofs and stuff, like some of the shit I'm going, this is fucking sick. Yeah. But it's just like, but if you played that at a nightclub, everyone would walk out.
Yeah.
That's because of the MD, man.
Yeah, because it's something about being out in the bush that gives you like kind of a bit of a wilder mentality.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
You get a little bit
because your senses are heightened.
You get looser.
I'm used to being in the city, and now it's like I'm in the bush, and like I could get eaten or something.
In typical Preston, Timmy Preston fashion, he rings me up. I think the night before, the night or the day before, and he's like, "Oh, dude, I've got this doof down south or something like that. Can you get me any MCs?" And it was like a Labor Day long weekend or something like that. I'm like, dude, everyone's like, How long have you known about this, dude?
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah,
you know who was there?
Nah.
Type 1.
You're joking?
Yeah.
That would have been dope. Yeah, but he's like, I need some grime MCs. I'm like, yeah, okay, but it's like a long weekend and shit, man. Like,
yeah, that was so funny because I rocked up and then I'm like doing because there's no phone reception. I'm doing runs from the road to collect fucking DJs and mates because I'm the only one with like a 4B that's capable because this thing was
like in the bush.
Yeah, in the bush. So cunts had to leave the car at the road.
Yeah.
And then like it was down a 4B track, so it was.
I went to a doof once, and like on the way in, my fucking tire exploded.
Unlucky.
Yeah, and I was like,
just left it there.
Nah, so
I'll worry about it after the gig.
It was literally like I was probably just on the outer outskirts of where people were camping anyway.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I'm just gonna pull my car up, and I was like, because I was fucking spewing about it, but I was like, you know what? I'm fucking here. I'm just gonna have a fucking good time, and I'm gonna deal with it tomorrow. And so I just and because it was in my old ute, so I had like a mattress in the back of the tray, so I had this mad little setup and like shit to cook and everything. And so I just fucking got fucked up and just had a good time. Didn't give a shit about the tire. Woke up in the morning, dealt with it. I was happy as, you know, like it really quickly could have just ruined my whole thing, and I was just like, I'm already in the fucking bush.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
I've always thought that'd be a really, really good fucking money-making business idea is having one of those fucking like food trucks or food trailers and rocking up the next morning.
They do that at some of them.
Yeah,
the one I was at, they had
mashed, man. You just sitting there and people just wake up and you got chips and bacon and eggs and shit.
Well, the thing is like there's no money out there. It's all been spent on other things.
True.
Yeah.
But I reckon, I reckon once you start selling bacon, man, you'll be getting onto that credit card straight.
I had a fucking a little bit of a game plan when I was there, right? I had this little fucking cooker there, and I just bought like a fuckload
of
Sully.
No, so I bought like a bunch of snags, like heaps of fucking snags, and like bread and all this shit, and I just like set it up on the back of my ute and just started cooking sausages because I was like, every one of these cunts is hungry right now.
Yeah, bro.
I was like, I'm going to meet so many people. If I just start cooking snags and don't stop, and cunts will start walking up to me like, hey, man, you going to get a snag? Yeah. And literally, I've probably met 200 people over the course of like a few hours. And it was just cool. It was just like, oh, have a snag, bro. Like, and then just have yarns with people. It was a good time.
Well, that's it. Like, you know, when I first started going to these things, it was like, it's still to this day, it's like, you know, community-based, you know, barter system.
Of course.
I got something for you if you got something for me. Like, you know, what can I trade? Yeah. Like, I'm like, you know.
I'll give you this water bottle full of LSD for fucking a sausage.
Yeah.
And a packet of chips.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so, you know, those parties are a lot of fun.
Yeah. A lot more coming up, or would you like to do them yourself?
Equipment gets thrashed.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. Like, I used to have a dedicated set of equipment for doing bush parties and stuff like that.
And it's because it's out in the fucking bush. You need fucking way more power than you know what I mean? Because like it's not like doing a set in a room where the speakers will be fucking enough. It's all traveling through the fucking trees.
Man, there's some big setups though, dude.
But you need big setups. So that's what I'm saying.
The guys from Twisted Jar, they're like Function 1 setup I played on. That's fucking decent. You feel that in your fucking chest from your car.
You ever done any Mad Hatters?
Yeah, Mad Hatters.
Mad Hatters. Yeah.
Some of the fucking setups at those gigs though are pretty fucking wild. It's like
the projection mapping in the bush is like next level. You know, those guys that like put that on is just like visually it's like, you know, I'll look at old photos of doofs from the early 2000s and I'm thinking like, you know, just some glow lights and some UV lights and some stretched lycra. I'm like, wow, this is trippy. Like nowadays, I'm like,
lasers
man,
and all this shit.
Projection map and like all that stuff. I'm like, well, like if I.
And it's just people doing it because they fucking love it. What's cool about it though is it's just people doing it because they fucking love it.
Yeah. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That was the premise with DMU. We're doing DMU every Saturday, weren't we?
Yeah.
So we how many? I think we did about 9 or 10 all up, didn't we?
9
or 10. So every Saturday night we're putting on basically raves. In a sense, well, it wasn't a rave because it sort of finished at 12 o'clock. But everyone was sort of going before, and we had a theme every week. He was doing all the artwork.
What's the definition of a rave then? What time does it have to finish? Does it just not stop?
I think it just keeps going for days, man. I think some people are still going since 99, eh?
Till one of the DJs just goes, I'm fucking ready for bed.
Yeah. No, we had some good ones. We had some, like, we had Hut Show on with the vinyl set. We had St. Paddy's Day. This guy's lighting rig is fucking off chops, man. He's got some lighting that is just...
Especially for that small space.
That was small space.
I brought pretty much all of it in there. And it's like...
sick.
And it was like, it perfectly matched that venue.
Yeah, matched that venue. But look, we
didn't
never
get
know.
to check
Something
one out,
may eventuate later on in life. But
I've got a little bit of a 5-year plan at the moment, and something towards the end of that 5-year plan is to get a venue. So we'll definitely, if that ever happens, we'll definitely be hitting you up to do some go outside the realm of hip hop a little bit.
Man, put on the show, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Put on the show, man.
Yeah.
And you taught me a lot too on the deck. So
I think
really
it's time for a piss break. What do you reckon?
All right, let's have a piss break. We'll be back in fucking 5-10. Yeah.
We always say back in 5, but it just edits straight back.
Yeah, but he does that whole thing.
Like, he always goes, we'll be back in 5.
Yeah,
and
but
then
what do you call it? SpongeBob. 5 minutes later.
This is where you plug all your merchandise and shit for 5 minutes.
Yeah. Welcome to WNKR Radio.
Five minutes later.
Now, after all those people you just talk shit about, like, let's air it in the open. No.
Anyway, fuck you. All right? Fuck you.
You know who we're talking about.
Yeah.
Anybody who knows.
If you know, you know. If not, fuck you.
Yeah. So we were just talking in the car park while we were having a quick dart. Well, you weren't having a dart, I was.
How long?
53 days.
Fucking good on you, brother.
Look at you.
Yeah, that's dope, man. Nah, keep it up, bro.
It'll be 60 days on my birthday next week. So
that's fucking dope. That's fucking sick.
No piss.
So what are you doing for your 21st?
Getting pissed to smoke a cigar.
Yeah. Fucking
all right, so we were smoking a cigar. Yeah. That's all right.
Yeah, it's dope. So yeah, we were talking about because I was like, oh, what else are you sort of fucking interested in? Like, what's like your personality and shit? Because that's gonna obviously be what other people be interested in if they like your music as well. And you were just like,
this is it. Yeah.
I don't really have anything, bro.
Well, no, you are.
Which is interesting in itself.
I have a lot.
You like food just as much as me.
Yeah, 100%. Like I've got a lot of facets to myself. Yeah. Like, you know, as of like learning new shit that, you know, I'm interested in. So like there's that part of it. But like, you know, from the day to day, like this is all it, just music, bro.
Yeah, it's just shit that you love and that's it.
Yeah.
Which is the way a lot of people want to live their lives, really. Like,
100%.
Yeah, a lot of people, if they saw it as an option to just fucking straight up do music and nothing else, they 100% would. But it's like,
I've got a question. Do you prefer the say the set booking of like a wedding or a fucking 18th or something like that, or do you prefer say like a doof, or do you prefer like your residency, or do you prefer doing a hip hop gig, or what's something that you find that is you enjoy still doing and it's also off the cuff, so something that you don't usually do?
I think that's why I dart around a lot, is because
it's always fresh.
It's always fresh. Yeah. Like, you know, it'll
minty
be
fresh.
I'll be you know, out in the bush 1 minute, I'll be like interstate. I'll be doing some kid's 16th birthday party that's never had a DJ, or you know, then I'm doing 21st or a fucking 70 or an 80th birthday party, you know. And I'm like, you know,
do I play drum and bass for the 80th?
You know, rude around.
They might be really into it.
Yeah, you know, and it's like it comes down to probably more like the fascination of people watching and reactions, you know. And
that's got to be an interesting part of DJing as well, is that you have the vantage point where you see everything going on. Yeah. You see the drug dealer in the corner.
Yeah, I see the drug dealer in the corner.
You see the guy getting a little bit antsy. you see the guy and his missus having an argument and fucking, and they're not getting along.
Why? And the Y over in the other side of the bar, winking at him as he's talking to her.
The Y,
Oh, that's
the ex-boyfriend and shit.
Yeah.
I must say, you are a very...
That big 6 foot tall Y.
You are a very observant fellow.
100%.
In the years I've known you, you're a very observant fellow. You have a very good attention to detail, and you can't say something to him and then say, no, I didn't say that, because he'll fucking remember.
Yeah.
He's like Rain Man, this cunt. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's it. I
remember once it's like, I was there and I'm like, no, that was my USB. And you're like, no, because then you gave it to him and then he gave it to him and then he put his track on there and then I gave it back and then I wiped it and then I put your stuff back on there. I'm like, I believe you. You know, like there's no doubt. yeah. And there should have been like 6 degrees of separation and, you know, sort of Chinese whispers, but no, he was right. It went to him and then he took his tracks off and
and like, you know, and so like being in those vantage spots, it's like it's good for venues as well. Like I can spot shit before it kind of breaks out and wave like security over, for instance, if there's you know, if it's gonna take him 10 minutes to get through a crowd.
Do you ever get
like things are kicking off, you're like, you know, fucking you got little you got tracks that you can play that alert security, like meerkats. You know, you've got sayings that, you know, some girls come up and ask requests that for certain songs that mean
nothing. Yeah, but in it's something else. Yeah,
you know, like heaps. There's like heaps of like little, you know, underground kind of lingo in that as well. So,
so because obviously everybody's seen all the videos online and all that kind of stuff. Do you ever get a lot of problems with people coming up and touching your shit while you're fucking?
I used to go spare with my decks, remember? Yeah. I remember one time I literally lost
people don't realise how many thousands of dollars that equipment is.
No,
they got no idea. They just think it's pretty buttons. Let's press the pretty buttons.
They're like, oh, can I touch some stuff? And then you're like, no. Like, you know,
I prefer you
didn't.
Do
you think you're that fucking important to ruin everyone else's night here? Like, you know, that's usually one of the lines that I say. Yeah. Like, if they're persistent and fucking rude.
A dick,
Yeah.
I've only ever done one.
It's just
party.
people being pissed.
Yeah.
I've done one party and it was a big experience for me because I've never done. Like I had requests. This was at a surf club for a friend's friends. Yeah. And I'm not that type of DJ. Like I got into it more so to facilitate the gigs. I couldn't get DJs. I bought my own decks, sort of self-taught, hassling this motherfucker out, hassling Tim out. Like, what does this do? What the fuck's a sync button? YouTube, all that sort of shit. And then they said, oh, can you do this party for us? Because the DJ couldn't make it, double booked or whatever. And I said, okay, I'll give it a crack. Did it for minimal money because I just thought, fuck, it's worth the experience. Never fucking again. I don't have the chicken dance on my playlist. I don't have fucking. I don't have like. I don't have Bruce Springsteen, Born to Run. Like, I love the album. I've got it on vinyl, but like, it's just not my thing, you know. Like,
and they're rude about it too.
And they are rude about it. And like, I mean, they'll come over and touch your shit.
Yeah, they book you. They're like, you know, it'll be fine. I like you. Like, you know, this whatever happens. But the people
Random
go there
drunk
and
person.
expect certain tracks, certain things.
Yes.
And they're not even the ones paying for it.
No. Yeah, no, but they act like they did.
They do.
They act like they've just bought a fucking $100,000 car. And they come and you've just sat on it, like you know,
and they act like
don't go near my car, sort of shit. You're like,
yeah, I've seen some videos where they almost act like they own the DJ. Oh, like it's like I bought you. I have bought you.
That's what it felt like. That's what it actually felt like. And the funny thing was is that I had because I got my case and everything like that, and I've put my decks on the case. And at the end of the night, everything's I'm packing up, and I take my decks off. I go to pack it up, and there's this fucking envelope underneath my decks on the table. I'm going, what the fuck is that? And I thought, oh, that's the payment, you know what I mean? I thought they would have put it on there when I put my decks on. I opened up, it was like fucking $1,800 cash. I'm like, fucking, this is a bit odd. So I went up to the lady, and she was dirty at me by this stage because there was like probably 4 or 5 of them asking to get a song on.
Yeah.
And I facilitated because I literally just went through the auxiliary cord and put Spotify on.
Yeah, you know,
and just to facilitate them, just to keep the night
everyone
going,
happy.
Keep everyone happy. And they were arguing because her song was before hers and her song was before hers. And I thought to myself, what's the best thing I can do? So I got a notepad and pen. I said, you want a request on the microphone? Write it down and I'll go through as much as I can. As soon as I put someone else's request on, other people were complaining about this song.
Because it wasn't on right then.
It wasn't on right then and right now. And I thought, fuck it. So at the end of the day, I thought, fuck, there's $1,800 cash here. So I called the lady over and she was filthy at me, mate. And she was the one that obviously paid me for the gig. And then I said, look, excuse me. And she goes, look, don't talk to me. She goes, I've had enough. She was obviously pissed. And I said, no, I just want to let you know you've left your cash envelope here, you know, like. And she's had a look and she goes, oh. I said, no worries, have a good night. And I walked off and she was trying to give me like an extra $100, you know, for being nice.
No.
And I said, no, that's so good, like, you know. And never again, man. Yeah. Like, I'm not that. I don't even consider myself that type of DJ, you know, like.
Yeah. I don't consider myself that type of DJ.
But I couldn't ever do it again.
You'd do it.
I have to.
So fuck your parties, fuck your 18s, fuck your weddings, mate. It ain't happening, eh?
Yeah. No, it's it's you know, it can be good. You know, it can be really good.
Richo loves it.
Yeah. And, you know, occasionally you'll get those weird group of people that are
super chill and super fucking...
Well, it was at a yacht club. It was that type of rich demographic sort of person.
Yeah, and like, you know, all you can do
I rocked up in my fly trap hoodie and hat as I usually do. So yeah, it was. I wasn't dressed for the occasion, but still, I tried my best and I was honest about it. But yeah, end of the day, fuck them.
Yeah,
fuck your parties.
Some of those videos online though of fucking people harassing DJs, and it gets real fucking intense because obviously you're going to be protective over your shit.
Oh, of course.
And you're
That's
also like you're there to do a job. It's like, you know. And what kind of fucks with me a bit is it seems to be a specifically DJ thing, because if there was a fucking live band playing
and someone comes up and just grab the mic or grab
the guitar, yeah, or someone just like, hey, can I just play that string? Like, no, you would never do that. But with the DJ, you'll go fucking
wiki. Fuck off, can't. Like,
I love that bit. Can I do a scratch?
Yeah, like, you know, for like young kids and stuff that are like
that's
curious, I'm like, fuck
yeah.
Because that might be what gets them into music.
Yeah,
100%. Yeah, 100%.
But like, if your drunk fucking auntie or uncle's coming over thinking that, you know, they run shit, and like, I've requested 2 songs, so I'm running this party. You're like, fucking no. Like, you know, you drink and your onion smell can fuck off.
Fucking onion, we were just talking about it before, Inside joke. Yeah. If you know what an onion is, you know what a fucking onion is. Anyway. But you don't do that sort of that sort of party anymore, do you? You're more into, well, for your bread and butter, you'd say you'd need that sort of residency thing, wouldn't you? Like,
yeah, so I've got a residency where 2 residencies where I'm doing Universal Bar, I'm doing Broken Hill Hotel,
which is fucking dope food. Broken Hill Hotel, man, they've got
the steak sandwich, man. I'm just like, I can't wait to get back on
from
that.
A chef, you know, like it's got good food.
That relish, I'm just like, it's so good.
Yeah, it is.
The only thing I'm like a bit that it's the order that they're stacked in, because the beetroot, everything slides out. If they just move the beetroot to
underneath,
the bottom,
right underneath where the bread is, then it wouldn't move. Yeah. So we're just going on a food tangent here, but you know, that's the way it is. But one of the Eagles is part owner of that.
Yeah, he was there.
I wouldn't fucking know.
For the end of year wind up.
Yep.
In like last year, I was DJing there. I had the like function corporate thing.
Yeah. So who is it?
Broken Hill Hotel. That's in East Vic Park. No,
Nah,
Vic
who
Park.
is it? Who is it?
Is it Tony? I don't know. I'm not an Eagles supporter anyway, but
I don't
it's
even
one of the Eagles
know.
players. He's a part owner in it and stuff. But they spent a lot of money on the venue, and it's gone up a class. Used to be sort of like a working man's pub in the 70s and 80s, a bit like the Paddo. And now it's very more upmarket. Well, that's what people want. So, but the food there is fucking phenomenal, man.
The people are still
phenomenal.
Phenomenals, whatever. Yeah,
it's an
anemone. I can't.
Anemone.
Whatever it is in fucking English. Yeah. Phenomenes.
Hyphens fucking.
Yeah, so I'm there, and then, you know, I make the appearance doing a lot of sort of you know, underground hip hop at Cabalitos as well.
Yep. That's right.
Cabalitos is fucking dope.
That is dope. They got the bloody Maria with the tequila.
It's like a full tequila bar, right?
Yeah.
We had back when I was doing sales, we had like a fucking work function thing there. It was fucking sick. They had like, because in the like private fucking room thing that we booked out has the like stripper poles and shit. So like me and all the boys just drunk swinging around on the stripper poles. It was dope.
When are you at Cabalitos? I haven't seen you advertise that.
Because I'm there like maybe once a month.
Right. Next time, let me know, man.
I'll come
next Saturday.
Yeah, next Saturday.
We'll come down, have some tequila shots, and have a good time.
Oh, dude, they do a Bloody Maria, which is a Bloody Mary, but without the vodka. They got tequila instead, and you get like half a fucking rind of cheese and a full chili pepper, like a full habanero. So you're sitting there fucking chewing chilies.
Yeah,
mate.
He's happy if he's chewing chilies.
I'll see you next Saturday, brother. I'm coming down, mate. And they got a chili tequila shot, which is fucking, mate. It burns on the way out as well.
Fuck that.
Trust.
I'd rather not.
Yeah, the interesting thing about this fucking place, though, right, Cabalitos, is that upstairs...
You're about to talk shit about it?
There's no upstairs.
No. So upstairs was a fine dining restaurant called 1907.
That's right.
And that was the first...
That was like a gold plate winning fucking restaurant.
The first restaurant I moved to out of my apprenticeship. So like it's like almost come full circle where... Because they had the cocktail bar downstairs. Where they used to... like basically entertain their guests before their dinner was ready. So you go down.
But it was called something else, wasn't it? It was like a private. They had it as a private thing, didn't they?
Yeah, 1907, and no, the whole thing was 1907.
Okay.
Right.
And then so like I'd spend all my time in on the set of stairs there. punching darts in between services and stuff.
And now you're doing that in between sets.
Not
anymore. You don't.
But
smoke
it
anymore.
was like spun out. And I'm like Cabalitos because I like I was like,
Is it King Street or?
Queen
Street.
Street,
Queen Street. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm
It's
like,
a nice joint.
I haven't heard of this place. And then I'm walking Queen Street. I'm like, that sounds familiar.
Fucking
Flower
sick.
Factory. I'm like, yeah.
So Mexican.
Yeah.
So Mexican.
Well, I started
so much tequila.
Before my apprenticeship, when I was a young fella at 16. I actually started as a chef.
Did you?
Yeah, I did my 3-month trial, and I told them to go punch it in their ass after that. And that was at a gold plate winning restaurant called Chanterelles, and it was in Subiaco.
Oh, that place, yeah.
Yeah, and it was they won gold plate 4 years in a row, and basically I was just peeling potatoes and stuff. I loved it, and basically my old man said to me, he goes, look, you got to either go back to school, mate, or get this job, and I think I was sick of fucking peeling potatoes for 3 months, I only really liked it because of the food. That's all I wanted, man. Was like, man, I'm having fucking 5-star fucking.
You're just eating
meals
chilies.
Well, that's the other thing about doing this full time and not making it the first time is that going from free food for 15 years in the chefing industry having to I'm like, oh shit,
eating mee goreng and shit.
Oh, steaks are expensive.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sitting there eating premium fucking food here on the daily, and
hamon fucking prosciutto.
Yeah, just as a snack. I'm just
and then you start paying for it yourself, and you're like, I can't afford this shit.
I can't afford this shit. Not on an artist wage like back then. When I was starting out, I'm like, shit.
But at least you got your trade to fall back on.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Occasionally I do a rockstar shift if a mate calls me up and says I need someone, but usually I tell them to fuck off.
Rockstar shift.
How desperate. Yeah,
is that where someone just rocks up and fucking
rocks up, saves the day. Makes a nuisance, clearly messes everything up, and just fucks off.
Leaves it for the kitchen hands and go,
No, that's a bit more in depth for that, but
yeah, a little bit more, but
fuck.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool, but so the majority of gigs that I'm doing, say in my residencies are kind of like hip hop based, so 90s to noughties commercial stuff at Broken Hill Hotel into I start off with a lot of new disco and then move into that sort of hip hop stuff. So and then obviously Cabalitos is still a more underground where I get to
experiment more.
Yeah, experiment more. I'll try and get 20% of Australian artists in there. Just because I'm like, this is the only
avenue you have to
let me get away with it as far as pushing artists out. The other venues.
Quite a small venue for a DJ though, isn't it?
Yeah, but
it
it's
is,
good.
But the place gets packed, man.
It's a vibe.
It's a vibe. Yeah, it's definitely a vibe.
I do like Cabalitos. I definitely have to come check you out.
All those bottles hanging from the roof and shit, man. I've had a few pissy nights there with Skulker. That's how I found out about the place. They had a DJ there. I think it was more like a house DJ, and it just wasn't vibing. Like when we had it then. That was a couple of years ago. Actually, going by my Facebook memories, it was probably about 4 years ago. So
they went through a lot of people trying to find a set sort of avenue, and what we're doing now is
I reckon it'll suit you just perfect because it's that small sort of space, and you can just sort of run amok. Yeah, that's what I reckon. Yeah,
it's pretty good. And then same with the Universal Bar. It's I play a lot of
we did
real commercial.
The first gig that we put on, I think I've talked to you about this.
Yeah,
the first gig that we put on ourselves was at Universal Bar, and we thought it was really cool because they had some sort of deal where it was you paid a deposit rather than paying a venue fee.
Right.
And if you get 50 or more people in, then they give you the deposit back.
Yeah.
So that's what we did, and it was sick. And it's there's no stage.
Venue managers listen to this, man.
There's no stage, right? But what it was where the stage was, which is just on the ground with a couple of PAs and some mics and stuff.
It's a proper stage now.
It's literally
they've just
because it's upstairs. So literally that's 3 feet away from the smoking section. So it was actually funny. This is one of our first gigs we ever did. I started having to smoke during my set. Because it's upstairs, but it's got an outdoor area thing, that's just right there. And so it was just what was cool about it was because one of the biggest times you lose people in the crowd is when everybody needs to go for a dart at the same time.
Upstairs, you don't
and that'll happen in every set you do, right? Every set you do.
If you can play to both crowds, it's fucking
and so what's cool though is when people go for a dart, they're going over there and they can still see you. Yeah. So you still feel like you have a crowd there. So
that was good with the So I went to I went to a couple of Motive gigs and a couple of upstairs at the Rechabite.
Yeah.
Got that bar upstairs, and that's fucking dope because it's literally still outside technically.
Yeah.
And I went to a couple of gigs there, and we're like, you fucking cool dart and people vaping and shit. I think they've cut off now, but that is a really, really good place I'd love to do a gig at.
Fuck, I swear we promote so many venues on this fucking podcast.
How they give us a booking, man?
Just telling stories about shows that we've done on them. Like we probably promoted so many venues.
Brassy don't do much anymore.
No,
Brassy'd be dope, like upstairs in that little corner. You know, where the pool tables were and shit. I reckon
that's where they used to do a bit of DJ stuff.
But yeah.
Yeah, I think they've shit canned entertainment because
too much dramas,
promotions, and all sorts of wonderful things that we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
Not on this podcast. Yeah, no, fucking. But with also with the residencies, is it good having that? Not so much as
safety net.
Yes, as a safety net, but it's also good so you say, well, I've got this and this booked. I can also focus on booking other things, or does it become conflict sometimes, or do you sort of work around that? Obviously, Caballettos is once a month, and what's Universal now every fortnight, every week? Because you're doing 2 or 3 days a week there. At the time.
In the beginning, it was 5 days a week, so Wednesday through to Sunday every night.
Yeah,
and then when I got other bookings in, I would sub out or So.
Do you just tell them somebody that would be suitable to jump in on?
You just book them through your company and then invoice them directly.
Yeah, there's multiple ways that it was done. So yeah, it was quite good DJing. Like that was like going from 1 or 2 gigs a month, and then like when I came back from Melbourne, and then teed up with Sky in the event, and he's like thrown a lot of stuff my way, which is good. And like
give him a shout out.
Yeah. So Sky from the event. What up? And that's the thing, like teeing up with different promoters and different booking agents as well. And just having a relationship with them is also handy. But yeah, having the regular gigs, at least I know there's some cash coming in the quiet stuff.
There,
a little bit of solidarity in what you're doing.
And then that's like, but I only it's gotten to the stage, I think it's 2 months to 3 months ahead booked out. And then
fucking A, man.
So it's just a matter of adding one to the calendar, and then sorry, I'm not free, would you like another day, or and it's like, it's not, I need something next week, I need something in a fortnight, like now there's enough work in the ahead that I'm no longer have to stress about it in a way that I can. This is why I'm starting doing more production now, is because I've got the time to do the production and not have to worry. Like my leads are that far ahead that it's like,
that's good.
You're not playing catch up.
Yeah, that's it. And then if I have a month where I'm like, don't do a lot of lead follow up, and the calendar's looking sparse in a couple months,
then you got to get stuck in the back.
That's right. What's going on?
Rather than doing saying, have you got something this week? I'm like, who are you? Like, like, what are you? You sound desperate on the phone. It's like, I got a couple of dates free. Like,
last thing you want to do, from my experience, especially when you're contacting venues and things like that, is to seem desperate. Last thing you want to do, because it makes them just not want to. It makes them just not want to fucking have you on. If you're acting desperate, like fucking, I'll take any date, I'll take this, I'll take, like anytime you have me on.
Like sometimes you have to.
No, but what do you generally do is like, preferably I'd like this date and this date, blah, blah, blah. If you have that available, otherwise maybe we can talk about something else. And then they'll hit you back and say those dates aren't available, and you say, okay.
I've had a couple of gigs where they're like, oh look, they've sort of given me the fuck around, and I've just said, give me a booking fee. And they've said, what do you mean, mate? I says, well, how much is it going to cost me to book that room for 4 or 5 hours? I say, well, $500.
Yeah.
I'll say, do you want it in 50s or 100s? I'll pay you now, and I want to book it.
Yeah.
That's just such a Lucian way to deal with things. That's like
it's just fucking like this.
Sometimes it's got to be done though.
This one gig,
you want it in 50s or 100s.
That's what I said to him. I said, look, I've been fucked around by 3 venues. I need to get this gig. I think it was Flytrap Volume 5 or something. I can't remember. And I said, look, just fucking book it. I'll pay you now. That might have even been our one. Book it in. I think it was, yeah.
We ended up doing.
And I just said, look, let me just fucking book the room.
Yeah.
All right. Fucking. I think at the time,
because it was like 3 months we were trying to get the venue.
3 months we were trying to get the venue, and I'm like, I still had DMU at the time. I'm like, I can't be fucked. I'm running 2 because we were running the DMU rave on the same night.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was
I'm
running back in between.
Yeah, I'm running back in between the two,
Yeah.
and I was just said, look, fuck it, I'll pay you. Like, what's it going to cost? $500? Here's $500. Book the room, at least cover your staff.
Yeah.
If no one buys a drink, at least cover your staff.
Yeah, exactly.
And it just went ahead, and I'm just like, let's just fucking do it. And I was running between the two gigs, mate. Everything all right here? Yeah. Across the city, yeah, everything all right
Now,
there.
when we were in Brisbane, me and you had some like long drunken yarns. Like we just and
100%.
like we were legit the last ones up, just talking shit about music
Duckus.
for fucking hours, dude.
That was the duckus.
And the reason the conversation I think was so good was because you've obviously got a lot of experience with like running your music like it is a business.
Yeah.
And I'm only just now starting to think of it that way.
Yeah, yeah.
And so you gave me a lot of advice. I had lots of questions, and it was really good. Like, it was very helpful to like where I'm starting to position myself now.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to ask you, if you had, like, for anybody who was in your position who was a DJ or an artist or anything like that, if you had any sort of advice that you'd want to give someone starting out, what do you think that would be?
Like,
network.
Get good.
yeah, just practice. Like,
Yeah.
that's like, just hone your craft and like, don't rush it. Like,
Yeah.
you know, like if you like want shit now, like that's like, it can happen that way, but you know, you can also like burn your bridges jumping on shit too soon.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know,
Without the skill.
without the skill level.
Yeah, I think that's what in the early days of like me and bipolar and all that kind of stuff. In the early days, we knew we were pretty good,
Keen.
right? But we were way too like we went gung ho right at the start.
Yeah.
And
like,
then
don't get me wrong, that's good.
It's good
It's
drive.
like, it's good drive, and like if you're
Yeah.
constantly at promoters' faces saying like, let me on, like they,
Yeah.
you know, they get. First of all, they're like, yeah, that's cool. Then they get annoyed, and then they're like, you know, then they might come around, you know, like as long as they know that you're there.
Yeah.
But you know, it's just like, yeah, hone on your craft, you know, hit them up.
Practice.
But like we were
Be a
young
part
and
of-
in
be a
and
part
our
of the things that you want to be in.
yeah.
You know, and then like, you know, like you don't have to jump in the deep end straight away either. You know, like figure out if it's for you first.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and it took me a long time to get to the point where I wasn't looking for that big break that was around the corner.
Yeah.
Right? When you accept the fact that it's going to be a long haul,
Yeah.
right? And it's going to be a long fucking haul. And even if it takes the rest of your life, if you accept that it might take the rest of your life to fucking get anywhere, and even if you don't get anywhere,
Yeah.
you can be happy with that.
Yeah, how
You have
much
to
is that worth
accept.
to you? Like,
You have to accept that even if you work the rest of your life and never really get anywhere with it, you're still happy. That's when you can start actually doing your best work.
I think that's when you can sort of call yourself a creative and an artist when you come to that realization.
When it doesn't matter.
When you're like, it is about...
It does matter.
It
You want
does.
to do everything you
Of
can
course.
to try and
Of course.
obviously
Yeah.
make something with your art. But when you accept that even if it doesn't work out in the perfect plan, the perfect world,
Yeah,
you're still
exactly.
going to be happy pursuing what you want,
Yeah.
then you're going to progress. You actually end up progressing faster that way.
Oh, definitely. You know, like I was like all about the drum and bass before I moved to Melbourne, and I'm like, I just want to do drum and bass, and they're like, and there's only a small one promoter in there, and I'm like, yeah, I want to do this, and then I'm like, no, I'm not playing anything else, and then like I was not working for like 6 to 8 months, DJing.
And then you're like,
it's
fuck.
I got one gig, and I'm like, play drum
I
and bass.
can't
and they're like,
eat.
we don't do drum and bass over here.
Yeah.
And I'm like, shit. And then I'm like, I had to change my whole tune. And I'm like, oh. And then like
That is
what
weird
What
that-
triggered for me was that I was like, if I want to play around this fucking planet, which is the goal of mine,
Yep.
I have to like be adaptable for one and know what's right for each country, and it starts with each state, each regional town. You know, what I play in Perth, I don't play in Karratha. What I play in Karratha, I don't play in Albany, or you know, or Adelaide, or you know, or Brisbane, or you know.
By the way, I saw something pop up that you might actually be somewhat interested in today.
What's
I
that?
saw a ad,
Yeah, that was the one I put up.
Maldives.
Yeah, there's an ad for a gig in the Mal. I'll send you the link.
So it's
I'll share it.
a year long living at a resort.
Yeah.
5-6 days a week DJing.
Yeah, and they basically say you
I'll send
send
the link.
an application and tell them like how much you want to earn a week in US dollars.
Yeah. So it's
right, and
yearly
then
salary. It's a contract for a year.
But it's just a year at a 5-star resort, like.
And the Maldives.
You'll get pretty
DJ.
bored real quick,
I reckon it will be.
You get pretty over it real quick.
I did share it. It is on my Facebook.
Also,
page.
the kind of crowds you'd be DJing to, I'd be curious.
Be just like non-stop
billionaires
you're talking about.
Yeah.
Play, pina coladas.
I own you
all the time, mate. Hey, I haven't got the chicken dance, fucking. Hey, I haven't got the chicken dance.
But hey, if you want to go live in the Maldives for a year,
Look, I would probably consider that something like that for like maybe 6 months.
Yeah, I feel like the year's a bit of a stretch. Like they should say 3 months at a time.
Considering how much I do in a year, I'm like,
yeah,
I can't take that time off. Like that's what it feels.
Because then
like.
you got to start again.
Yeah,
well,
not start again, but like.
You basically do
what's
though.
That contract mean like if I go over there and I'm like 4 to 5 days a week, right? I'm like that doesn't leave me opportunities to go. Hey, like someone meets me there and goes, hey, I want to book you. Like, where does my contractual leave me if someone wants to, fly me over to somewhere else? Like it's like
I think it'd be great in the sense of networking and experience.
Oh, experience! For
it would have been. It would have been good for us 10 years ago.
It would be good for you. Something like that would be great for you when you get to like almost retirement age.
But then again, who wants to see an old as fuck DJ?
Hey, look, you're gonna be in like retirement homes very soon, mate. Like you're gonna be like, we're not gonna be playing lawn balls, mate. We'll be fucking rinsing in our days.
Yeah, exactly. People that grew up,
8-year-olds with neck tats and shit, mate.
People that grew up in their 20s eating drugs and dancing around a dance floor with me.
We're all gonna be in like fucking flat caps and like sitting
I
around
don't
drinking
think
tea.
I don't think
you
it's
don't do that now.
No.
You won't do it when you're fucking 80, 90 or 100. Like,
of course.
Yeah,
you'll be rinsing out the drum
and do you know what's funny? Since I was a kid, fucking old people like a lot of old people look very different to how they did when I was a kid.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, it was like
they
fucking
lent into it.
Plaid shirts, fucking
That's what a 40-year-old looked like, mate.
40-year-old.
Now look at me, I'm still wearing the fucking same shit what I was when I was 17, man.
Yeah, me too. It's comfortable.
Fucking
it's good shit.
No, I reckon it'd be obviously a great opportunity, but like you said,
if there's a DJ out there, hit me up. I'll send you the link.
Yeah, it's on my Facebook page. I shared it this morning because like I like sharing that sort of shit, But yeah, it would be
cool for somebody.
Yeah,
but like what you were saying, that would be the biggest pain in the ass because a lot of people are going over there for holidays. They could be billionaires, and they've been traveling all over the world. They're just fucking. They're probably retired. They got fuck all else to do. If you play the wrong song, they're gonna get pissed off with you.
But you could have done the same thing, chefing. You could have been chefing in the Maldives for a year and
exactly
end up on a cruise ship or whatever.
And like I've got mates that have done that and they're really successful at that and they've like had a fucking blast.
Takes a certain kind of person to
like different strokes for different folks.
Yeah, I would. It's not really in my my vision path to be locked in somewhere, like
for music, I want to be moving around. I want to be doing fucking like 10 shows in a row. Let's go this city, this city, this city, this city, this city. You know what I mean? Like I want to have that kind of lifestyle of like let's fucking go. You know what I mean? Man. That movement is what I want. I don't want the fucking stuck in one place. Like, you know what I mean?
Now the one thing I like seeing for you as a DJ and as a performer, as an artist, is that you sort of you know what you want and you follow through with it and you have a sort of
game plan.
A game plan, an action plan. Now, and the best thing about it is you're like, I don't really give a fuck about what anyone else thinks. This is what I'm gonna do, and I'm just like fucking like that's gangster, man.
Like I remember
seeing him work, man, like that, and it's just like fucking yes, dude.
I take authority of like my shit, like and like
you own your shit.
And like I can't not be that person, and like it's frustrating for me to see other people that don't, but like I also understand like how I got here and how their journey is and what stage they're in their journey, you know? And like this is why I'm like always free with the advice to up and comers and queries and all that sort of stuff,
because it doesn't hurt you for somebody else to do well.
Oh, not at all.
Exactly.
It benefits me in a way.
Yeah, because the scene gets bigger that way.
Yeah, and he's taught me so much shit, dude.
Well, like, for example, when we're in Brisbane, fucking, I started talking to you about, like, look, I'm sick of doing all these fucking free gigs. Yeah. I need to start getting paid what I'm worth for my fucking gigs. And then you just turn to me and you're just like, have you asked?
Yeah. It's sometimes as simple as that.
And then literally, as soon as I started putting that into practice, it's a different game now. You know what I mean? It's like... but
like, it puts the ball back in your court, for one, and you also get to choose the free gigs now.
Yeah. Yep.
You get to choose who you work with.
Yeah.
You get to know who you're working with.
Yeah.
Who can afford it, who's stinging out,
who's solid,
who's trying to make money off you for one,
or who's trying to cop the fucking, how would you say it? Cop the publicity off you.
Yeah. And like, you know, and that's the sort of thing. And like, if you fuck with that person and the way that they act and the way that they run their shit, sure, do a free gig for it.
That's how we met.
It's also about like knowing your value in a way, like knowing that like if I'm gonna do a gig, I know for a fact there's gonna be at least this many people in the crowd that are there to see me.
Yeah.
And that might not necessarily be what my fee is, you know what I mean? But I bring a certain energy, I bring a certain thing that will help the venue sell drinks. Like I bring energy that gets everyone revved up and like ready to go. And I think that was a big like kind of eye opener. A lot of things changed for me when we went to Brisbane. Right, a lot of things changed for me. One, I was just like, I'm sick of fucking dealing with people's shit and not getting anything from it in return.
Yeah.
And then another one was I need to start actually thinking strategically.
Yeah.
And not just
business-wise,
not just fucking throwing a handful of darts at a board and seeing what sticks.
But that's the thing too. You obviously got to understand as well is that. In the first part of your journey, you're thinking more as a creative and getting your stuff out there. Whereas now it's coming to the point where, well, fuck, dude, we're actually pretty good, and we've got to actually start looking at it as a business. And
well, I'm not saying if someone's starting out, by the way, I'm not saying to not take. You need to do free gigs at the start. You need to.
You can't just roll up and just start demanding top dollar.
Yeah,
like I've seen people do that, and you either get laughed out or they put you on and embarrass the shit out of you and never get booked.
And then you'll never get booked again.
This is why I'm like, practice.
And I've done
the rest will come later.
Gigs, do the open gigs, you know, get experience. Like mates' house parties are the fucking best for DJing.
Drunken raps in the backyard.
Yeah, or just
when you get to a point where you're confident,
record your stuff and send it to people.
Yeah,
you know, send it to your idols. If they don't reply, then don't follow them.
Fuck them.
Like,
I feel like when you get to the point, especially
you don't
with
have the time for me, I don't have the time. for you,
people send me texts all the time. I love it.
Yeah, but that's the thing. If you don't have the time for my shit, then I don't have the time for you. And like it's like you know, it sounds fucking crazy, but it's true. Like I deal.
Sometimes you got to be cynical.
Yeah, 100%. I'm like, I'm that petty when it comes to that shit sometimes. But well, you know, like as I try and be the artist that I want other artists to be, right? So if someone comes to me and asks for my opinion, my help, and I can give it to them, I do. Yeah. I reply to them. I'm on top of that. But if you know, on the forehand, I go to someone that I idolize or like, you know, you're doing really well or, you know, that I look up to and I get a fucking sour experience for them. Yeah. You know, blacklisted. Like
once you're filthy, you're filthy.
Yeah. And then when you start to get like to a point where they might be asking you for something, you're going to be like,
oh, that's the funniest thing, right? Yeah. I had a few of my idols recently that back in the day was, you know, they were the kind of like elitist fucking motherfuckers think they run the whole scene sort of shit. And I was, a groupie sort of thing.
Yeah, I've got an idea. You're bigging them up and giving them big heads.
You know, supporting them,
and
sharing.
They are dope. Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. I know.
And then, and then I got got hit up recently about all the gigs that I'm doing and like they want to jump on board and...
What, as in a back-to-back or...?
Like, for me to book them. And I'm like... You've never once booked me, and
never shared my shit. Never,
and it's like, you know, like it's a little petty, but at the same time, like
it's the sort of things you remember.
Yeah, well, it's like I think it's you know important to nurture the things that are you know the good values in this scene rather than nurture the ones that aren't. You know, those people will fall off eventually because of their
ill intentions,
ill intentions.
Well, that's the thing too.
If you don't have the time, then that's fine. But you know, I don't have the time. Like that's how easy it is.
Oh, 100%. And it's sort of disheartening too because like you know, you sort of look up to these people and you base your how would you say your formality of sort of artistry and performance and all that sort of stuff. Like you know, you like their little style or you like to emulate that.
Yeah.
And then when you actually really, really meet some of your heroes and people like that, and then you really see who they are, it's a fucking eye-opener, isn't it, bro?
Yeah, 100%. And then, you know, the reflection also is like, do I really want to be that person in my career as well?
Yeah, that's right,
you know, and it's like a lot of like, because you're already self-reflecting, being a creative all the time, you're constantly on yourself and checking yourself.
That's exactly
when you're
right.
creating, not just with your music, but physically, mentally, how you interact.
I'm
with
exactly
people.
the same. You get very into yourself, and you have that sort of like imposter syndrome, and you're like fucking. I know exactly what it's like, but then also too, like I like helping people in certain ways, like either on the gig or helping them with their track or something like that. But like that's sort of what gives me a bit of a drive as well. Like you helping me, coming to my house, helping me out, and there were just like little questions that I didn't understand, like end of the day, what the fuck does this button do? You know, how do I fucking bring these tracks into my record box in order to get the wavelengths and it's just like a sort of progressive thing, and a lot of people that you do help don't really reciprocate in return, and that's pretty much one thing that fucking fills me up, because bing bing everywhere. Oh, look at that.
More work.
More work. That's the way to go.
Yeah. You know, like, especially for like, you know, people that are keen on it, and like, you know, you can see if someone's actually legitimately gonna do something with it, you know,
do something with it. Yeah.
Some people will, you know, they buy all the gear and then go, you know, help me, and I'm like, where do you want to start?
Where do you want to start, man?
Well, I want to start on this because I heard about this and this. It's like you're confusing yourself. Like, start with the basics.
Yeah.
Well, it's like don't get me wrong, is like in the Australian hip hop scene so far, I'm a fucking nobody. You know what I mean? I haven't actually like made it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But you're doing content.
But I have done a lot of shit and had a lot of experiences where I've learned a bunch of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes people will come to me to ask me for advice, like how to get on gigs, how to do this kind of stuff. And what frustrates me to all fuck is when someone asks you for your advice and then starts picking apart your advice as though you're giving them bad advice. Like they start questioning everything you're saying like, and it's like, I'm not saying this is what you, I'm not telling you exactly what you have to do, but it's like when somebody goes, oh, I don't think that would work. Oh, no. Like,
do it your way.
Okay, fine. Why it's just like you asked me what to do, and or they just don't do it.
Some people don't believe it's that simple.
Yeah.
Sending a fucking email or a text message or going to a club and talking to somebody or talking to a venue or talking to artists.
Or punctuality.
Yeah.
They're waiting for you to give them, like, see, the best gems.
But that's the thing. People want to invest in you. You know, like that's the stupid thing. Like people want to know about you. They want to get aboard, like with whatever you've got going on. And like, you know, if your first thing that you throw them is disrespect or
it's gonna leave a fucking dirty taste in your mouth.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, I don't fuck with that person. Just like, you know, even if they're still growing or they, you know, and then later.
Whereas
down
like
the track,
even if they didn't do the advice that I was giving them, right? But I had a good experience from like having that conversation with them and that. There might be down the track, maybe what they were asking me about was getting on gigs, right?
Yeah.
I might be booking a gig down the track and I'll go, oh, I'll get that guy on.
Yeah.
Right, but if he thinks that whatever I'm telling him is wrong,
or he's too good for it,
acts like, I couldn't possibly do that because I don't ask venues for gigs.
The dreaded ego shit. Right
Then I'll be like, well, why should I help you if you're not going to help yourself? You know?
No. Well, that's it. You know, like some people aren't ready. Some people are, and some people just deserve the chance. You know, and like that's the thing. It's like it's important not to gatekeep, but it's also, you know, important to help along that journey as best you can. And if they're not ready for the advice, you can't force it down their throat.
100%. Yeah.
You know,
lead a horse to water.
You can't force it to fucking drink.
Yeah.
Anyway, Adam, it's fucking Mr. DJ4UK, Adam Dalton. Really appreciate you coming on our podcast, mate, or YARNCAST.
Keep forgetting I got a like fucked up finger every time I shake someone.
It's actually been a pretty long episode, which is fucking really, really good. Fuck, we'd love to get you on again. It's always good having a yarn.
So let's plug some shit. So you do Cabalitos, you do fucking
right in there.
Universal Bar.
Yep.
Broken Hill Hotel, Cabalitos, Universal Bar.
All Perth based.
New song came out
at the moment. Yeah, new song Light and Dissonance on
Light and Dissonance.
Light and Dissonance, yeah. It's on all streaming platforms.
Under DJ4UK.
Just 4UK.
4UK?
Yeah, it'll be or DJ4UK. Google me, it'll come up. The best way to see all my shit is on 4uk.com.au. You can also purchase my merchandise, which I've just dropped on Spotify, Facebook, Instagram, on my website. And yeah, majority, if you want to see me play out, most of my tour dates are up on my website.
Fucking dope, man. Sick. Yeah, believe me, you won't be disappointed.
Sick. Just before we shoot off, I just wanted to mention that on the 19th of May, we got a show coming up.
Yes.
That's going to be at the Bar 459 at the Rosemount.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a good one.
Big lineup, dude.
Where we are going on fucking tour soon. We've got some dates lined up. Well, we haven't announced them yet, but it's fucking happening.
It's coming. It's coming.
So that show on the 19th of May is going to be a fucking big one. We're going to be kicking it off. We want to try and get some footage to use it to promote the tour. We're going to have Bipolar, Coercive Money, fucking Asthmatic, Verbalize. It's going to be a big fucking night.
Myself on the decks.
Get your tickets from Oztix.
Oztix. We'll put a link up in the episode bio. Also, too, yes, big announcements coming. We've got a lot of shit happening, especially with the podcast, with touring, stuff like that. Appreciate everybody that's tuning in, subscribing, liking our shit. All our guests, obviously.
Ta-da! Bye-bye.
Catch us later.
Have a good day.
Fun cool.